All right, we're live and we're back with another edition of Prime Parents, the one and only hosted by BiggDogg Chico. I'm here bringing you another exclusive with some parents of the newest buffs to come along, former Auburn cornerback Colton Hood and brother Brandon Hood, who have committed to the Colorado's Buffaloes. Brandon came over, of course, he's a former Auburn cornerback who transfers to Colorado, and his brother is class of 2024 running back from Eagles Landing. Colton, 6 feet, 195-pound cornerback, will have 4 years left, along with his brother will have 4 years, of course. 5'11", 190 running back. Held offers from LSU, Tennessee, Auburn, and others. Now, we got a family affair going on in Colorado, as this will be the fifth set of brothers to join the team. Of course, you have the Hoods now, Shiloh and Shador, Jalen and LeJontay Wester, Destin and Keaton Wade, and also Caleb and Cole Mathis. Let's go ahead and introduce and get to know their parents right here on Prime Parents, the one and only. We have Mr. Ben and Miss Crystal joining us right now on Prime Parents. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Hello,
Thank you for
hello.
having. Thank you for joining me on Prime Parents. This is another edition. This is season 2, and we're happy to have you guys on. We got a real football family on now.
Yes, sir. We're definitely glad to be here. We're almost at the same time as well. So thank you for having us.
All right. Go ahead and introduce yourself for everybody watching and listening, and let them know where you're checking in from.
Okay. Well, my name is Benji Hood, and this is my wife Crystal Hood, and we're from we're actually we live in Conyers, Georgia. I'm actually from Columbus, Georgia, and she's from Selma, Alabama.
What? Hold on. This is why I wait. Hold up. Let me get my stuff right here, because I should have probably. What I like to do is like to have a candid type conversation on these interviews. I don't like to do like a lot of people do a whole bunch of research and stuff. I like the parents to tell as we go so we can get to know them. Now, you just said she's from Selma, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
That,
sir.
that's my hometown.
What? What?
We, that's my hometown.
I grew up
Unbelievable.
there.
And now, if you're from there, then we'll get into it. But you got to know some people I know. I got to know some people that you know, most definitely.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Wow. Shout
A
out
lot
to
of
the
good
sale,
things come
man.
from Selma, huh?
Say that again.
I said there are a lot of good things that come from Selma,
Exactly. People better know it. All right. So go ahead and give us your background again. I hate to interrupt you. Sorry about that.
Well, I'm from Columbus, Georgia. I grew up there playing sports. I was an okay athlete back in my day. I actually started off going to Auburn University. I was there from 90 to 93, where when we went on probation. I actually transferred to Morehouse College. So I graduated from Morehouse College, and while at Morehouse College, I met my wife Crystal at Spelman College.
Okay. That Atlanta experience up there, man. I bet you was something different. And now you guys are in Conyers, Georgia. You say, and
Now we're in Conyers, Georgia.
and McDonald is the high school there, or is
Yeah.
that the main area?
Well, no, they actually went to school at Elka, which is in McDonough. How that
Okay.
came about? How that came about? Our kids were going to school in downtown Atlanta at a Montessori, where I mean it was phenomenal, where they were learning at an extreme fast rate. But I wanted them to be involved in sports, and a guy named Christopher Tutt said they had a school there that was pretty good academically and pretty good athletically, and it would give us what I felt would allow them to be well-rounded young men, because it was of a Christian base. We are a Christian-based family, and we sent them there, and the rest is history. We had Brandon will be the fourth kid to graduate from Elk.
Wow. Now I know Colton. I listened to an interview he did earlier. He's talked about his older brother. So go ahead and give us a breakdown of the siblings
Okay,
in
okay.
his athletic family.
Well, we have Benjamin Hood. Benjamin was a pretty good athlete. He tore his ACL 4 times. He actually went to Auburn University to play as well. But he
Right.
tore his ACL 4 times. When he tore it the fourth time, he decided to leave and go to Georgia State. And there he had a pretty good. He ended up playing at Georgia State for a year and a half, where he lettered for 2 years. Well, 2 years where he lettered. Then we had our son Caleb Hood. Caleb Hood actually he went to the Air Force Academy his first year, and he decided that he really wanted to be really focused on football more so than football and in the military. So he decided he could have went to a couple different schools, but he decided to come back home and go to Georgia Southern, where he's now the leading receiver in Georgia Southern history. And he has a pretty good outlook I think from a professional standpoint. He just was really he was small. He's like 5'9", 170. But he's the leading receiver in Georgia Southern history. He's All-American. He was All-American preseason, All-American postseason as well. So that's Caleb Hood. That's number 2. And then we have Colton Hood. Colton was the strange story about Colton. Colton was the one that was really small. He was like 5'4", 112 pounds in the 9th and 10th grade. So everyone, and look, he had Caleb, Caleb was an All-American in high school, and Brandon was the perceived All-American. So he was caught in the middle. So he hit his growth spurt like his 11th grade year, and he continues to grow. He's always been really good fundamentally sound, but he was really small. But his junior year, when he played cornerback, he had like 8 picks, like 5 or 6 touchdowns, 2 returns for touchdowns his junior year. So then his senior year, they really didn't throw the ball at him at all. So they decided to let him play other positions to utilize his skill set. And Brandon is the next one in line. Brandon probably, from a football standpoint, is probably the most talented at his position. Brandon, before he got hurt, was the number 4 player in the country. People don't know that, but as he didn't play, he only really played 3.5 games since he got hurt the 4th game. But he was like, before the injury, Notre Dame, CBS, they were all talking about, they were following him and was going to create a story about him and what he was doing. But when he got hurt, some schools fell off, but he still had a few schools like Georgia, LSU, and the reason Georgia was so adamant, his preferred walk-on was based on their level of commitment to him to come to Georgia. So, and then Georgia's like 45 minutes from our house. So, and Georgia was a great school, and they really wanted. As a matter of fact, they really was sad that he decided to choose Colorado. They called him like the day, even up until the day of. So we have a lot of love for Georgia, a lot of respect for Georgia, and what they try to do in reference to Brandon.
Nice. That nice breakdown right there, man. That's a lot of talent to keep honed on and just in one family man. How did y'all keep food in the house?
Oh man, look, but we still got 3 more to go. Hey, look, that's the first set.
My gosh. All right.
We have Sky, who's 14 years old, and Jackson, who is 11, and then Claire, who is 5. And they're all, athletically inclined too as well.
Okay, so all right, well, let's get into Mom's athletic background, if any. Talk to us about your background and coming up.
Well, actually, I trained in classical ballet from the time I was 3 years old, all the way through medical school. And I also cheered. I was a cheerleader in high school and in college as well. So,
yes, and
ballet may not be considered a sport, but it is very, very skilled, and you have to have really good talent to do it. So there's some contribution there.
Hey, I'm showing love to all the cheerleaders. My sisters were cheerleaders, and they were the captain of the cheerleader team. They would not let you play down the athletic ability needed to be a cheerleader. So much love. And also, we had a few parents on here before. Shout out to Miss Kim Mathis. She was a cheerleader, and she talked about how she definitely contributed some of that athletic ability to her son.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So we talked about Brandon being possibly the most talented one. I saw Colton even say that he is the best running back in the country. And like you said, Dad, he just got looked over because of that injury. Now, what do you think he could bring coming into Colorado? We know he's super fast. We saw him on the track, a big guy running like that on the track, 10.8s and 10.9s in the 100. What can he bring to Colorado, and what do you see him bring to Colorado?
Oh my goodness. I think like the tenacity, the fortitude, the intelligence, the athletic intelligence as far as understanding defenses and knowing how to respond to different things. But I want even on the track, I want you guys to know this. Brandon doesn't run track. Brandon, they asked Brandon, and this is after the surgery. He hasn't ran on the track since his sophomore year. So when they asked him to run, it was just like, "Hey, Brandon, come help us with the 4x100 team," right? So it was just like, okay, because he was playing baseball. So the coach went out there that Saturday to help on the handoffs, and then Monday they put him in the 100 meters. And when they put him in the 100 meters on Monday, he ran a 10.8. So when I and I'm not matter of fact, I'm not, you can't make this up. So for him to be able to go out there and just like I said, with the torn ACL, PCL, and the other issues and challenges that he had, I think that was like it's a testament to his fortitude and his will and dedication to be special. So I think like like what most guys don't understand with Brandon, the what you're going to get is a person who if you want something to happen, if you say, "Hey, Brandon, we need to score," and you can talk to his coaches, and he'll say, "Hey, look, Brandon, we need to score." He'll say, "I got you, coach," and he'll just go do that. I seen Brandon with a broke arm, and this is documented. The coach said, "Hey, Brandon, we need to score." They threw him a swing pass. He had a broke arm. He caught the ball with one arm and made a couple guys miss and sprinted 45 yards for a touchdown with a broke arm. So when I tell you, like, and I think LSU and Georgia, they know this about him because LSU, I mean, that Coach Frank was like, "Hey, look, he didn't even want no other running back. They wasn't even recruiting on any other running back before Brandon got hurt. And Georgia they just stayed the course. And that's why he chose Georgia, because Georgia called him every single day. And like I said, they made other commitments to Brandon for him to come to Georgia. And that's like, the intricacies of why he chose Georgia other than the other schools. And the reason why, and I will let you know, the reason why him and Colton really wanted to play together, and Colton couldn't transfer to the SEC school, and Coach Dale McGee left and went to be the head coach at Georgia State. So what you're going to get in Brandon, he's going to be, I believe he's going to be a sleeper for us. I believe he's going to be like, wow, people not going to know, like, because if you see how big he is, he's built up. He's pretty built up.
And that's what I noticed. He's not like a thin track guy, like you said. You can tell he's a football player out there running track and just naturally fast and still competing out there. He definitely didn't look like a track star. He looked like a running back.
Like I said, that was just his third. That was just his third. Well, that was his first track meet.
He seems to be fully healthy now and coming off that injury. And has he gone through a lot of contact? How was it this past season?
Well, he only played 3 games this season. We kept him out because we knew that, hey, look, we just want to make sure that he could be able to perform. And the first game he played in, he ran for I think it was 265 yards on 16 carries and 3 touchdowns. Well, 4 touchdowns. Wow. So that was the first game. So then then the second game he had he had I think 100 and some yards, and then he played in the state playoff game in which he had he had a 75 yarder, and he had about 140 yards and 2 touchdowns with 8 carries.
Amazing. And you got Big Bro saying he's going to be the best running back on the field, but there's also another running back out there in Colorado that you guys might be familiar with. I know Colton said he's familiar with, and that's Michael Welch. I call him the bowling ball or the fire hydrant or the tree stump. Talk to me about you guys' experience seeing Michael Welch coming up.
Michael Welch, man, was a dog when we played them, because he was from Baldwin County, and they have good football come out of Baldwin County. And Michael Welch, when I tell you, my quarterback at the time, he actually plays basketball at the Indiana University right now. He was our starting quarterback. That's why he played basketball, Michael Welch.
And Welch was renowned as a good basketball player too. I saw people posting about him playing basketball. But your sons also played multiple sports. Talk about them coming up playing baseball and basketball and all the sports that they played and traveling with them. As a young coach also.
I mean, we've been to New York. We played in Cooperstown. We played in Arizona. They actually traveled with the Blue Jays, Atlanta Blue Jays team in Florida all summer. So that's why they never went to like the football camps, the star rated camps, because I believe in athletic intelligence. I believe that a kid, right now everybody's about specializing, but I don't believe you can like really maximize your potential focusing on one sport when you're 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 years old. So that's what we did during the summers. Colton and Brandon, both the Colton, as far as a baseball standpoint, he was probably like one of the top 50 players in the country in baseball. Brandon too. I'm gonna tell you about Brandon. Colton batted about 600. You know what I'm saying? We're playing in the best. We're playing in Florida. We're playing in Arizona. We're playing in South Carolina. We're playing and he always dominated wherever he was at the plate. And he's a left-handed batter. That's why when Dion, when we started talking with Dion, it was just like, hey, look, that was a natural fit because Colton wanted to play baseball. And I think that was that was also a determining factor as far as him coming to Colorado because of the potential opportunity of him playing baseball, even though the Buffs don't have a baseball team. So it was like just a different conversation. And with Brandon, I'm gonna tell you about Brandon. We was down at the Astros training facility. They were playing in Florida, perfect game tournaments. They clocked Brandon running from home to first base at 3.82. And this was when he was 16 years old. The fastest time in the major leagues at that time was 3.9. It's documented.
Yeah, he could. He's competing right there. They see it. And those scouts take notes of this stuff like that too.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, he's always for both of them though. They continue to call, but like I said, we never went to the camps because during baseball season that time it was football time. When you run it like during the summertime when people go to those star camps, they never went because they were out playing baseball. So that's that was that, and I always, like I said, I believe, my belief is if you're good and you can dominate wherever you are, they'll find you. And that's what is taking place. That's what took place. So all the accolades, all the offers, they came from them. When people come to see them play, they came to see other people play, but then they start in.
and that's huge right there. I've had a couple teammates that got recruited. Well, I got recruited because of they came to see another teammate. Definitely. They saw me, and then they saw a younger team. Somebody you might know too. Shout out to Ben Obamanu who played at Auburn.
Yeah. I'm older than him. I'm older than him.
He's from Selma.
He's from Selma. Yes, that he's 1 year under me. So he I'm not going to just say that he was recruited because of me, but I know for a fact there was a coach at Auburn that came to see me play a game, and Ben broke loose, pew, pew, across the field. They said, we want that guy right there too.
I'm gonna tell you that happened to me. The reason why I went to Auburn, the guy who they came to recruit was Max Strong. You remember Max Strong played with
Big
Seattle?
Mac.
Yeah, Max Strong.
That's how it goes. That's exactly how it goes. Talk about your years playing, because I had another legend from Selma went to Auburn. He played basketball though. Doc Robinson. Shouts out to Doc.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. I'm familiar. I was there. I was at Auburn from 90 to 93. Coach Dennis, Coach Dye, all those guys were there when I was actually playing. When I was there. I think that's the biggest thing, right? They wanted to move me from receiver to defensive back, but I told them I didn't play defense. So I was 19 years old telling Coach Dye, who's a legend, I don't play defense. I tell people, and this is something that I instill in my sons and my brother, because my brother is 10 years younger than me, who went to Auburn, and my first cousin is a few years younger than my brother. So what I told him is like, hey, look, what's the most important thing? And it's to play football, because they moved him from receiver to defensive back. 10 years later, that same question, that same deal was like, hey, look, we want to play. We can use you if you play defense. Like I said, I was stubborn. I was young, new to the whole concept, and I believe this right here, and it didn't work out. So now all my kids, even Caleb, who is the lead receiver in Georgia Southern history, he didn't play deep. He didn't play offense in high school. He played defense. Colton played defense. Brandon always played running back because if you see him, he built just like a running back. He built like a running back.
Hey, I understand that totally. I went to UAB because I wanted to catch passes. Auburn told me, hey, we got a scholarship for you on defense. Come play linebacker. We got a scholarship. I want to catch
That's
passes.
it.
So I understand totally.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned your brothers and cousins and other family who played in the league and at Auburn. Mm-hmm. Time to give a rundown and shout out to them also, to Roger Hood and everybody else.
That's it. Rod and D'Antoine. Actually, like I said, my brother's 10 years younger than me. I actually everything I learned at Auburn when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, he learned at 10, 11, and 12. So he was ahead of the game from a mental standpoint. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that people don't understand with Colton and Brandon. They've been around this their whole life. Colton actually trained with Patrick Peterson. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Peterson, he loves Colton because, like my brother was Patrick Peterson's personal coach for like the first 6-7 years he was in the NFL. So they travel. Like Pat used to have my son Caleb fly him down to Bahamas for him to work out with him, and because Caleb was he was that dynamic. If you have the time, just go Google him and see how productive he is.
Oh yeah, I saw Caleb, and he should be in the NFL right now, coming up, right?
Yeah, we believe in that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he's dealing with the measurable challenge, but like I think it's gonna work out for him.
Okay. Now, how do you think, and Mom also, how do you think working out with professionals have helped your sons understand the work ethic and things like that it takes to be successful? How do you think that helped them working out with pros?
Well, I think it probably just solidified what they've already grown up with. So they've been working out really hard since they were young enough to even catch. Colton was catching the ball at 18 months old. So and they've been waking up at 4:00 in the morning to go work out and run the hills and all that kind of stuff when they were in elementary school. So they're not any strangers to working out, and they were not new to that when they were around the professional players. I just think that being around them maybe instilled the hunger even more to say, okay, yes, I can do this and I want to do this.
Yes, I love it. Let's get into Colton also at Auburn. All right, so he decides to go to Auburn, not too far from home. He's there. And then Brandon is recruited, like you said, and Colton can't transfer to go to another SEC school at the time. He's at Auburn. Talk about his time at Auburn, and then when Colorado comes onto the map.
Yeah, so Auburn was Colton's dream school, and he really enjoyed his time there. And I actually, of course, enjoyed it too because it was close to home, so I could run up there on the weekends, and it was easy to get to the games. And so we really appreciate, the opportunity that he had there and the time that he spent there. But we're just as excited, or even more excited, for him to be able to share his talents with the Buffs and to be able to be mentored, by the staff, the coaching staff that's there, and especially Coach Prime, and as well as be able to play with his brother, which is a dream that they've had for forever. Colton and Brandon both wrote on their vision boards when they were 8 and 9 years old that one of the things that they wanted to do in this life was to be able to play D1 ball together at the college level. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, and at that time it was Auburn University. I think Colton said it best. He was a Cam Newton fanatic. When I tell you, he was a Cam Newton fanatic, and he was like, I'm going to Auburn. I'm going to be like Cam. At that time, he wanted to play. He was playing quarterback, but he's always played different positions because I wanted them to understand the game. It was never like just play quarterback. So let's play receiver. Let's play defensive back. And he worked hard enough. And that's one thing that I used to tell coaches all the time. I was like, you may find somebody more talented, But these boys here, you ain't gonna find nobody to outwork. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what we try to instill in them more than anything. Like, hey, look, everybody has potential. A lot of people have talent. A lot of people believe in purpose. And God is not a respecter of people. So what's gonna get you to that next level? You know what I'm saying? And I think like that's what attract our kids, and what they are, what why they like Coach Prime, because my wife and I always talk about performance and productivity and character, high character. So I think that's what they bring to the table, especially in today's environment where I think a lot of that is lacking because they're focused on, whatever that immediate result is. Colton, when he went to Auburn, he was like, hey, look, this is my dream school. But Prime is his dream mentor. So his thing is not to just play college football. He told Coach Prime, he said, look, you got my gold jacket. And this is how they see things. And Coach Prime said, come get it. So look, so this is how they see things. It's like Colton, he just believes that he doesn't believe that. He said this is what he told the coaches at Auburn and what he told Coach Mathis. He said, Coach, my daddy played college football. My uncle played in the pros. He said, if I don't get a gold jacket, that means I haven't forgoed the family legacy. And we're not just about sports; it's all about academics as well. Whatever I tell them, whatever you do, you know what I'm saying, with money, all the money that's out there, money is a byproduct of excellence. So if you're being excellent, then you will bring or attract, the desires of your heart. So just be your best self in all things that you do. And him and Brandon, I mean, all of them are like, honestly, I've been very blessed. I'm humble, you know what I'm saying, to be able to have some kids who will listen some of the time. They're kids now, because I didn't want my son to leave the Air Force Academy. Hello. But he had to live his life. But I think that's I think that's the biggest thing Colorado will get. Some people, some good character people who willing to work, who understand that, hey, look, it's about performance. It's about productivity. It's about, am I being my best self?
Right. I love that. Also, I like what Mom said about the vision board. I like how you broke down about being disciplined. Also, Dad, can you guys talk about some of the morals or the things that you guys instill in them? And also, was the vision board something that you guys came up with, and why was that so important if you did?
Well, I'll start off with the vision board. I believe in, to actually accomplish something, you have to see it, you have to imagine it, and then you go through the process. As a matter of fact, we had a conversation today about goal setting and not really focusing on the goal, but focus on every moment. And then all of a sudden, the accomplishment of the goal will take place. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we believe in. We were telling them like ever since they've been like toddlers, even like my little girl who's 5 years old. What we talk about is, okay, what do we desire? What is the purpose? What about purpose? And my wife and I believe that life is bigger than you. So each one of our kids, I think they hope if you talk to them, they understand that, hey, look, I am one person out of 7 billion people that inhabit the world. How significant am I? I said, but at the same time, what makes up the ocean? It's the waves that make the ocean. So, and look, watch this. If you're giving to the whole, which is the universe, which is the people, then the whole gives back to you. So when I talk about their character, that's the character that at this point in time in life, so that they're exemplifying. Now, you and I both know life happens, situations happen, distractions. We talk about distractions. We try to preface them to deal with the issues and challenges that exist out there, and let them know it's about, hey, look, it's about the process. You're going to make your mistakes. Pat Dye used to say this. Coach Dye used to say this, right? This is something that stuck with me. The team who makes the fewest mistakes is the team that wins.
There you go. And that's big, because he's essentially saying that you're going to make mistakes.
That's it.
You're going to make those mistakes. How you overcome them things. You know what I mean? Shout out to Pat Dye, man. I had Tuberville. I had Tuberville when I was
okay. That was my brother Tuberville, man. Whoa.
I didn't.
I know, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, look. You know what? Look, just say I know. I understand. That's what I say. I just say I understand.
Hey, let's just say I went to UAB, man. I went to UAB. But they did have an Auburn legend at UAB who was my RIP, who was my offensive coordinator. Shout out to Pat Sullivan, who was the former
Okay.
Heisman Trophy winner
Yeah.
at Auburn. So
That was the quarterback coach when I was there.
yeah, he
Yeah.
was a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's the offensive coordinator, great coach at UAB.
Mm-hmm.
Much love to his family out there also. So we got a lot of ties, man, with this Auburn and Selma
Well,
ties
yes, sir.
going on right now. And
Yeah.
now at Colorado, how was the recruiting process at Colorado? How did that start with Colton going into the transfer portal? Um, and then boom, you get contacted by Colorado. How does that work out? And how did that process happen with you guys?
Well, it was all about branding. Really, it was about branding, and because they couldn't say anything to Colton because he was up under Auburn, but it was about branding and how they really like Brandon from Coach Ray Forsett, his relationship with him and developing a relationship with him, developing a relationship. Well, the relationship I already had with Pastor Smith, I must say, man, he's been a godsend to the Hood family, and we honor him for that. We reverence him for that. He's a true, genuine guy. You know what I'm saying? That he even with Brandon, he said, look, Brandon, he said, I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm from Georgia. I was a Herschel Walker fan. I'm a Georgia Bulldog fan, but it's Colorado. I mean, that's what he said. He's like, look, he said, I know Dion. You know what I'm saying? I'm his pastor. I know his heart. I know what he wants to do, wants to desire. He said, but I understand. You know what I'm saying? Because it came down to Georgia and Colorado on signing day. You know what I'm saying? It was Georgia. That's what it came down to, and because of on signing day, because of Brandon's commitment to Georgia, because Georgia contacted him every day from the surgery up until he actually signed with Colorado. Signed a scholarship with Colorado. They contacted him every day. So, like I said, shouts out to them. But it's because of the relationship that we have with Pastor Smith. I mean, he was like, look, I understand Georgia, this and that. He said, but I know what you can do, and I know where you'll be at when you get there. You know what I'm saying? But Brandon believes wherever he goes, he's that guy. He's real matter of fact. He's very quiet. He's not no rah rah da da da. Colton is silly. Colton is more interactive. But Brandon is like matter of fact, like, hey, look, I'm on a mission. Like, hey, and look, and I'm not gonna be stopped. I'm gonna tell you this right here, and Coach Prime knows this. When Brandon tore his ACL, PCL, he had a drop foot. That's what most people don't understand. And I asked Brandon, because he was going at 16 years old, you're going through a lot. So I said, well, Brandon, and like I said, he was the number 4 player in the country before they moved him down to a 3-star. They moved him down to a 3-star because he hadn't played. It's just how it works. So I said, Brandon, man, what if you're not able to play football again, bro? I said, what about this? He said, Dad, I never thought about that. He said, I prayed, and I said, foot, get right. Because, drop foot is when, you can't dorsiflex. He said, foot, get right. I said, Brandon, what if it don't get right? He said, well, foot, you better get ready for the ride. You better get ready for the ride, foot. And look, watch this. And watch this. He is still dealing with that issue, but not as much. And he ran a 10-8 100-meter dash.
Oh, dang.
It starts with that.
So just hey, he get up there in Colorado and get on that great weight program they have, the great training program they have, of course the great meals that they have. You know what I mean? Coach Prime got them taken care of up there very nicely. I call it like an incubative system to produce boys to men. For guys to go up there and concentrate on just school and football and to get better and to network and to learn different things.
That's it.
How do you guys feel about him going up there to Boulder, Colorado? And at least they're going to be together, and they're going to be with other sets of brothers there. How just overall, from your perspective, seeing it and stuff like that, what are your thoughts, and how excited are you to be a part of this now?
Yeah, well, I will say I am probably the driving force, the reason why they are going to Colorado, because I
Oh,
have
no
known,
doubt.
I have known all along that this was the best place for them, and I just, said my piece and then just was quiet and allowed God to work things out the way that the way that only He could. So I'm actually at peace. It is far away from us, but I am. I know that they'll be together. I know that they'll take care of each other, and I believe that there's a good support network at the University of Colorado. We've met a lot of good people there, and I believe everybody's heart really is in the right place. Ben and I, our heart is, for humanity and just for people and for people to do well. And the message that I have heard Coach Prime say has been very consistent, and it really has been about the growth and development of these young men. And so, I trusted that it's so, but more importantly, I trust in a higher power, and I know that they are going to be great, and I'm excited to see them come and contribute and help this vision that Coach Prime has.
And just to piggyback on that, I think Coach Prime, the energy and the spirit is consistent with what we believe in, which is humanity, which is performance, which is productivity, which is being your best self. Hey, look, let's alleviate distractions, holding each other accountable, being responsible. I tell my kids, accountable is after you've messed up. So let's be responsible. So, from that standpoint, that's the spirit, that's the energy that we believe in. And I think because he's adamant about that, and he shows, he shows that he's a person of excellence. In everything that he does, and he shows that he had, for the most part, no man is perfect, but he has great character. You know what I'm saying? How do you know? Because you look at the lives that he's touched. You look at what his objective is in his program. People try to say, "Oh, he's selfish, he this and that." I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. I just believe that, hey, look, he does what he believes will meet people. I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna go to church. He meets people where they are and give them the opportunity to excel and succeed if you desire to put in the work.
Exactly right, and that's what I like about him. Also, you know what I mean. He's gonna hold you accountable, and that's how he's gonna have the players keep the standard as the standard. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it.
I love
That's
that quote right there. Keep the standard. Keep the main thing the main thing, and the
main thing.
standard
That's
the
it.
standard. That's what I'm trying to say right there.
Absolutely.
And that's what I like, because you're gonna have these guys come in. A lot of guys might come in and want to meet the celebrity and such, but then you're gonna have those select few, as I'll just say, like a Michael Welch, who came in from day one, and you saw him focus,
That's
trying
it.
to be a leader, leading by example, and several others out there too. So,
Mm-hmm.
shouts out to those young men. I want to get back to you mentioned Pastor E. Dewey Smith, and everything that he's been doing, and I call him the secret weapon recruiter, because he didn't only bring in and usher in Brandon and Colton, but also friends of theirs from Eagles Landing High School in Big Zach and R.J. Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
How has that been? How comforting is that? And what can those guys bring that you guys know of? What would they bring to Colorado?
Oh, I think they definitely bring a lot of potential, a lot of talent. You from Selma, so football is different down here. I actually have been very fortunate enough to be a part of both of them, of them growing up. From RJ when he was in the seventh grade, because we used to have a youth football organization. RJ didn't play for that organization, but him and Colton was very, very good friends. And one thing I saw about RJ when we were playing, I was throwing the ball to him because I was helping out, with the school up there as far as coaching. And I saw RJ had great hands and great potential. And I told his mom, I said, look, man, if he work hard, he'll be able to get to that next level. And look at, we're here. Zach is a great kid, but he was a knucklehead at some time. I went to Zach. I'm gonna tell you what I told Zach, because I have a very good relationship. He called me right? I told Zach, I said, Zach, man, I said, bro, you have a lot of potential. I was like, but you acting a fool around here. I said, man, you have the potential to be able to take care of your mom one day, to take care of your family. I was like, but if you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna be the big bouncer in the club. And and now watch this. Him and Colton are best friends. He's been over to the house. You know, him and Brandon. Yeah, I mean, you ought to see him and Brandon go at it. Oh, they go at it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was. I mean, it's just a great family environment. They're there with their brothers. I think, you know, RJ has potential. I mean, his potential is out off the roof. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, look, how do we get them to maximize that? And I think together they'll serve each other well.
Yeah, and I will add, Zach is a really good kid with a really big heart,
Yeah.
and I'm excited for him as well. And I think that he's going to benefit a whole lot from being at Colorado, and Colorado will benefit from having him there. Yeah.
Most definitely. Shout out to Big Zach and RJ. All right. At this 40-minute mark, we're going to take it back a little bit. We'll take it back to the old school, as they say. You know what I mean? All right. So with this one right here, picture worth 1,000 words. Tell us about this picture right here.
Oh man, you see Brandon? You see his mouth?
Yeah.
I think that was a family reunion.
Yeah.
Dinner or Sunday dinner, but yeah. His daddy would always have them suited and booted. They were never
professionals.
Yeah, they were never not coated and tie with the coat and tie and everything.
I like that.
Shoes polished too, all of that.
Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I called you coach at first. I meant to say, but Dad, tell us some things that you feel like, you know, speaking to young fathers out there who have younger kids right now, tell us some things that you feel like suiting them up, like you said, professionals, having them dressed like that. What do you think that kind of breeds in them, and why did you do it?
Well, I did it because I just believe things should be done a particular way. You should have some type of order. I don't think, you know, at the same time they wore jogging suits and blue jeans as well. But I think like at certain times, you know, you should say, okay, well, look, let me be a little bit more civilized. I think that actually allowed them to say, you know, look at themselves and then respond and behave in a different manner. What I would tell parents, you know, just based on, and I did that with all my kids, you know what I'm saying? Like not just them, but it's like, hey, look, who do you want to be? What does that look like? How do you act? How do you respond? What's your process? You know what I'm saying? What's your route? You know what I'm saying? Are you doing what everybody else is doing? Or are you being different? Are you standing out? You know what I'm saying? Are you being consistent? Because what makes you a professional is consistency. The reason things, I tell them this about hard work. I say the reason people say things are hard because they have to do it over and over again, not because it's really hard. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, look, if you know your purpose, and you strive to succeed, then, and you love it, to do it over and over again is it's easy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, look, because it's big, and especially when you take the mindset that it's bigger than you. And my wife and I, that's our biggest thing. Is like, your life is not your own. You know what I'm saying? Everyone is like, hey, look, let me satisfy myself. I'm a beast. I'm a savage. But a beast and a savage is about individualism. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we believe. So I say, man, we ain't got no beast around here because, hey, we all dependent on each other. We're interdependent. You know what I'm saying? That's the lessons that, you know what I'm saying, that I've given my kids. And as of right now, you know, they're following them. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm consistent. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like I'm consistent. They know, like, hey, look, my dad. Matter of fact, I said I told Caleb today, and Colton, I said, now I'm your friend because now you're of age. But before I couldn't be your friend because I had to show you the right things. And kids are selfish. That's what they are, right? They want to satisfy themselves. They want to satisfy the moment. But my goal, I felt like my wife and our goal and our role was to say, you know what? Look, it's not about you. So that's what, and I think when they get to Colorado, hopefully they stay true. You know, everybody falls, got distractions or whatever, but hopefully they stay true to that. You know what I'm saying? And be like, hey, look, and I think Colorado will be blessed by them. And I think Colorado will be blessed by them, and they will be blessed by Colorado and what Coach Prime is doing. I really believe it.
That's I'm sorry. That's definitely one of Coach Prime's favorite words, and that's consistency.
That's
So
it.
you
That's what
got to
makes
be
you a
consistent.
professional. That's what makes you a professional all day, every day.
Exactly. Was there anybody at Colorado that you guys had any type of relationships with beforehand, other than Pastor Smith being
You
you
know
guys'
what's funny?
satellite?
I'm gonna tell you what's funny. Not before Pastor Smith, everybody came through Pastor Smith until we met. We saw who was the assistant running back coach. The assistant running back coach and I. Well, he's probably about 12 years older than me. But he used to date my first cousin, and we used to sing in the choir together. Tommy Robinson.
But we didn't find that out.
We didn't find that out till like
after they had already
matter of
signed.
fact, like a week ago. We didn't find it out till a week ago. Yeah. Matter of fact, Brandon had said, "Dad, do you know Tommy Robinson?" I didn't even know his name, right? Because we didn't call him Tommy Robinson. We called him Keyman. So when I saw him on the picture, I was like, Tommy Robinson, I don't know the name. But then I looked at it and I said, I called my first cousin. I said, he from Phoenix City. He said, man, that's Keyman. So yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was so crazy. And he the assistant running back coach.
Wow. He's gonna be coaching your son. That's great.
He's gonna be coaching Brandon. And he knows me, he knows from an athletic standpoint, he knows my brother, so he knows the lineage. And look, he knows where we come from, you know, because my family has a pretty good name because we try to do things the right way, you know, and I'm not just trying to, you know, just say that, but we do. That's what it is. So I think he respects that.
Yes. Man, that is a small world, man. Let's go to a couple more pictures. Right here.
Okay. Yeah, that's Brandon Colton. That's Colton's 11th grade year. And that's a good friend of ours. He's also a fraternity brother of mine, but he's a good friend. And his son is going to play college, I think, somewhere in Florida. I forgot the name, Stetson in Florida. But he's like their godfather. Like he loves them to life. So he's always showing love with them, talking to them. So I was like, hey, that's my brother Archie.
Look like that's when Brandon had that broken wrist or arm right there.
Well, I'm trying to tell you, man.
There it is.
But he didn't have that. The story I told you that was before he put the cast on.
Right.
He didn't have the cast on. He broke it during the game.
Right. He broke it during the game, and then he went to the trainer. The trainer told him to show me your wrist that was hurting. He gives them the wrong wrist because he didn't want to be pulled out of the game.
Yeah.
And he finishes the game with a broken arm.
That's a football player right there.
Oh, I'm trying to tell you.
That's a football player right there. Dang. I'm going to show you the other wrist.
Right. That's what he did.
Real quick story. I had a guy I played football against who was a beast in the backfield, but we knew he had, this like Little League too, we knew he had an ankle injury because he stayed in my neighborhood. So I said, I'm going to hurt that ankle this game. But he was smart enough, this is the type of mind games we played back then, he was smart enough to put the ankle wrap on the other ankle. And so in the game, I'm twisting on that ankle, right? But he finished the game. After the game, he told us, y'all were pulling on the wrong ankle.
Yeah.
So he got us on that. Shout out to my brother, Reggie Glover. All right. Here's another one.
Yeah, that's Brandon. That was the Cardinals. That was one of the organization that we had that we played against Michael Welch then. And that's matter of fact, number 29 is my nephew Trent Hood.
Oh, I gotta ask you about him.
Oh yeah, that's my nephew.
So he's the he was the defensive player of the year in Alabama high school football for 7A, right?
Yeah.
I saw a couple highlights of him, and he's a beast middle linebacker from what I saw. Mm-hmm. And from what I know, he's going to Auburn as a preferred walk-on as of now. Mm-hmm. Why is it that he's going as a preferred walk-on and not as a scholarship player? Do you know that reason? Is it possible, I can ask this question, I don't work for Colorado, is it possible we'll see him as a buff?
We're working on it.
That's all I wanted to hear, baby.
We working on it, and it was just like, it's like, it seems like everything is good hood, right? That's what it's, look, and, we try to be modest as we can. I think, like, with Trent, my nephew, he had, like, he bloomed late. But when I tell you, like from an IQ standpoint, from a what you want to see in a linebacker, or old school like Sam Mills type of guy, he's that type of guy. You from Alabama, so you know he coming from Central High School. So and watch this, he went down there his senior year and took over. He didn't go to Central from freshman to junior. Central is, I mean, being from that area, Central is Central. Central is like IMG. Central got an indoor football facility. Pat Nix is the co-head coach at Central. You know what I'm saying? And he was Pat Nix. Pat Nix told my brother when my brother went down there, he said, now, this is what he told him. He said, now, this Central, right? For him to come in and start at Central, hey, look, I don't see that happen. He said, but I'll give him the opportunity. And my brother said, all I want is the opportunity. And he went down there and he straight dominated.
Man, you got to be a dog. I played with a couple guys who played at Central, of course. I think I had a teammate coach over there a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
But to be the defensive player of the year in 7A football in Alabama, dog. Come on, man.
Yeah, that look. And I think like I said, it's his measurables. He's like 5'10", but he 225, but he like 225. It ain't no fat. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no. It's like it's 225. You know what I mean?
We just signed a linebacker from Georgia who's a dog, also 5'11", 225. Mm-hmm. So if he's 5'10" right there, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
we can bring him in too.
Because my brother, played defense, so he understands, coverages. He understands what to look for in run defense. So he plays a lot faster and a lot smarter than most kids who come out. So hopefully it works out.
All right. Yeah, y'all heard it here first. Chat, get in the chat. Let us know what y'all thinking. And let the hood parish know where you guys checking in from, and put your city, your state, or your country in the chat right now so they can know where you're checking in from, and I'll give you a shout out. Any questions, put it in the chat right now. I'm trying to scroll through and see if we have any. I like Boozy said, great parents, consistency, upright upbringing. Exactly. So we got a couple of other pictures we can get into while the chat is going crazy. Oh, not that one. This one right here.
That's with Patrick Peterson.
That is Pat, ain't it?
Yeah, that's Pat Peterson. Yeah. He was at the house for Thanksgiving or Christmas. So we were all like chit chatting. That's before they started going in. My son Caleb was training with Pat Peterson at the time. So that's right before because they started doing it when they were like, I think Colton is in the 7th grade and Brandon and Trinity in the 6th grade. And that's our son Jackson, the one that's 11 years old now. So, he's soaking it all up. But yeah, so that's what that was. It was like at Christmas or Thanksgiving.
I like to give a shout out to Big Jackson. My main man. Jackson's gonna be on here soon.
That's it.
I don't know if he know, but he might not have a choice.
You're right.
You might not have a choice to be great, young fella. Let me see. I think that's all the pictures is this one? Oh, did we show this one?
Okay, yeah. Now that's our one of their parents. What is it called at the school? Miss McKay. She's been instrumental in all our kids' life. So I just wanted to just put them on there. Her and Mr. Keith. I mean, they love our kids to life. Every last one of them. They treat them fair and they really take good care of them. Because when you got a lot, and Crystal and I be working. You need some help. It takes a village for a village. We have a village, so it takes a village.
All right, before we go, we got to give a shout out and tell us how the good things and everything that came about going to Eagles Landing High School.
Eagles Landing
Christian Academy, should I say?
Okay. Well, just the people that we met, the relationships that we had with Miss McKay, the opportunity where the boys were able to share their talents, academically, athletically. Like the 8th grade, Brandon scored perfect on the reading exam there. Colton graduated with 3.8 or better. All of our kids have. So, just from the ability to provide a safe environment where they could go and learn, and even though they do have distractions, but not as many distractions as it would at other institutions or schools. So we're very humble because of that. I said we've been there for what over 10 years, 12 years, and we've sent we've sent all of our kids there. So we're very humbled about where they are because, like I said, it takes a village. The relationships that we develop with those people that are there. The pastor of the school of the church, he matter of fact, when he said he now is a Bucks fan because of Brandon and Colton. So they have a lot of respect. A lot of people love them there and have shown them love. I mean, for me, it brought me to tears when Brandon tore his ACL. People, because Brandon, like I said, he was on that rocket to here, and when he tore it, just the whole school, from the parents to the kids to the teachers, the amount of love that they showed was definitely helped him get through that time because that was a really, really tough time for him. And you would never know it, but I mean, it was just phenomenal. And I don't think he would have the mindset to be able to endure and overcome those situations and issues that he had.
Okay. And of course, I know that was a grueling comeback to get back healthy from that knee injury, ACL, MCL injury and stuff. In quick words on how you guys kind of supported him and some of the things that you guys had to go through getting through that injury.
Well, we used to wake up every morning at 4 o'clock and go to the pool and swim for a whole hour. Brandon is now a superstar swimmer. Hello. So we should swim. We should do the aquatic work. We flew all over. We were very fortunate to have resources to get him the best care that he could. And so for me, my wife and I, that's what we're very thankful for because we were able to do that to ensure that he's able to come back and be able to do what he's done. We're thankful to the doctors doctors were praying over him. Doctors couldn't believe his process. They could not believe how he overcame, to get to that point where and even to the point where he is now, because it's unbelievable what he's doing. And the doctors are praying for him, like when he gets there, because of, I guess, the level of humility, and they want to see him do well. So we're just very thankful for all of that. That's like, when I tell you, it's so awesome to see that and to live that. When you go to matter of fact, Brandon had the guy who is the innovator of quantum neurology come in to take care of him. And he calls us, he texts us on a frequent basis to see how Brandon is doing because he said he was touched by it. So for us, it's like, and this is why I tell them, I think this is why I say your life is not your own. I said, well, I believe this injury for Brandon is to really catapult him to what the universe, or however you want to put it, God has in store for him.
And so the therapies and all the rehab that he's gone through has been a big part of his recovery. But also, we have been just reminding him and instilling in him that, the power that made the body heals the body. And nobody can determine what your fate will be or what your outcome will be, but you. And so you have to know, you have to believe that you will be fully recovered and that you will come out of this better than you were before. And you have to, know and see yourself completely healed. And we actually, had a doctor to tell us that his potential was not going to be great. And I told him, I said, you know what, Brandon, nobody can tell you what your outcome is going to be. You have to decide what that is. And he really has made a remarkable recovery and still in the process. But we know that there's purpose in all things. And that's what we tell him. And this, as we tell them as they have been growing up, that, our life is not our own. It's not about us. This injury was purposeful. And I know that God will use it to help him, to allow him to help others and to encourage others and show, a different path, to recovery when things like this happen, and to never give up, and to always, believe and know that we are overcomers. You can overcome.
I love it. That's so much that he can learn from this, and you guys can learn from and grow as a family from this also. And it kind of deterred from going to Georgia and straight to Colorado. Colder where it's colder, baby. No.
You're
Seriously.
right. Right.
So
Seriously though, we happy. He's now back healthy. He's learned from it. He's gotten through it, and he can go out there and I say in Boulder where it's colder and get busy with Shador, Shiloh, Coach Prime, and such. What do you guys think? I saw in the chat. I was going to ask this question anyway. What do you guys think about, for one, all the attention around Colorado and Coach Prime's sons, Shador and Shiloh, how they've been handling this attention ever since they were little, going to Jackson State and now at Colorado. Talk about Shador and Shiloh and all the attention, and also Deion Jr. too, all the attention that's brought to Colorado football.
I think that's a testament to Coach Prime. You know what I'm saying? Is how they handle it. How humble they are. Let me tell you, Jackson is a piece of work. Now, Jackson is probably the most talented out of all the boys, right? Jackson can be a wrestler. He can be a gymnast. He can be a tennis player. I'm not joking. But Jackson went to Shador right before the spring game and said, "Hey, you locked in? I need you to be locked in too. I need you to be locked in." So, and he just laughed and he welcomed him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, man, I told him, man, what are you 11 years old? And then he went to him right when he was coming out. He said, hey, twin. He said, he told me this was Jackson said, he said, I got to talk to him like that because I'm a quarterback and he's a quarterback. He said, hey, twin. He said, it seems like you might get intimidated by the cold. You ain't intimidated by the cold, though. So Shador, you know what I'm saying? He showed him love. He treated him, like, because he looks up to him. So it's like, hey, look, it was like the moment when Mean Joe Green gave the guy the Coca-Cola in the jersey. You know what I'm saying? So it was like to that effect. So that showed to me, right? That shows a testament of who Coach Prime really is because of how they are responding to the media. You know what I'm saying? The things that they're saying. I mean, that is their father. You know what I'm saying? I tell, look. So it's like, hey, look, they are, from my standpoint, being with the level of maturity, I think they're very mature, very wise. But hey, sometimes, hey, look, a hurt dog holler. And they talk about their father. So it's just like, hey, look, I get it and I respect it. I think they're great young men. I wish them nothing but the best. And I told them whatever I can do, and that's very minimum. But hey, look, if it just get on my knees and praying for them, I get on my knees and pray for them and wishing, safety, protection, wisdom throughout this process. So that's my thoughts on it. I think they're great guys.
Great breakdown right there, man. Shout out to Coach Prime for doing a great job, and the moms also for doing a great job. And as a matter of fact, I should have started this off by saying Happy Mother's Day to you, Mrs. Hood. Well, and I hope you had a great one yesterday.
I did. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So we have people from New York checking in, Birmingham, Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, San Francisco. Oh, wow. Shout out to Oklahoma, Chesapeake, Virginia. Who else we got in here? Atlanta, Georgia, Newport News, Virginia. Everybody, we appreciate you guys checking in for another edition of Prime Parents. We're going to continue to do this and bring you guys insights, exclusive interviews with the parents of Colorado football players. This has been Ben and Crystal Hood, parents of Colton and Brandon, coming over, and they brought their friends too, with Big Zach and RJ. And we might have another Hood coming along also, so y'all stay tuned for more. Shouts out to Pastor E. Dewey Smith for doing this thing, continuing to be a pillar in that community that he's in out there in Eagles Landing in Georgia. Put an E-ski in the chat. I see you, Reverend B.J. Nelson, in here, always checking in from San Fran. Okay. So before we go, I'd like to give opportunity for parents to give a shout out. However you do it, this is your chance. Like if you're on the award show and they say give a shout out, here's your shout out chance right now. So don't forget the family, friends, churches, and fraternities.
Well, we're big family people, and so we, give honor and reference to our parents, Mr. and Mrs. Kirk and Gwen Carrington, and Mr. and Mrs. Lamar and Patricia Hood, Ben's parents, and our host of aunties, sisters and brothers who serve as, aunties and uncles and surrogate mothers and fathers for us, helping us. And of course, we're just very grateful for God's love and protection and blessing and covering upon us all these years, and we look forward to what is in the future. Yeah.
And I give a shout out to I want to give a shout out and a special thanks to Pastor Smith.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For his belief in the hoods.
Yes.
I mean, when I tell you, man, he believed in us, and I tell my sons, when someone believes in you, you be who you say you're gonna be. You be who you're supposed to be. So I want to give a big shout out to him. Give a shout out to Coach Ray Forsett. You know what I'm saying? It's been a pleasure getting to know him. He's a great guy. You know what I'm saying? Coach Prime, who's ultimately given us this opportunity for our kids to be together and live out their dream. Hopefully, in living out their dream, they'll be like, hey, look, that was a great decision for me to bring the Hood family aboard. And that's what we're going to be working towards. Also, I would like to give a shout out to all the people who assisted us. And, if it was just one word, it was just one smile, if it was just one handshake, as far as giving our kids the confidence and encouraging them to go and be great. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it takes a village. It takes, even I even give a shout out to the haters. You know what I'm saying? Because they serve as the motivation. You know what I'm saying? They serve as the fuel. You know what I'm saying? They serve as, hey, the people who like, hey, look, why am I doing this? Because if you're doing something and you have no critique, that means you're not doing nothing at all. So I'm even thankful for that, because I know like our life, my grandmother, this is something I got from my grandmother. It's like what God has for me is for me. And that's how what God has for you is for you. And that's how we operate. You know what I'm saying? And we stand on that. You know what I'm saying? My son today said, you standing on business?
Stand on business.
I stand on that. So I just shout out that, man. And I shout out to you for taking the time to say, look, you know what? I want you guys to know the parents of the people that we're getting. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, and we don't know everything. Hey, look, we might need to have a group chat where, hey, look, what do you see? Did you see I need to talk to what my son's doing up there in Boulder, Colorado. Hey, how they doing what they supposed to be doing? No, but I'm just joking. But yeah, but shout out to all that, because it does. Like, hey, look, especially if you want it, my wife and I really want it to be a better world. Especially with everything that's going on, the selfishness, this and that, the chaos, you know what I'm saying, the tyranny, all that. We really want it to be a better world. But why? Because it's bigger than us, and it's for my children's children's children. It's for your children's children's children. So that's what we're about, man. We're about that life. You know what I mean? We hood, but we're about that life.
Hey, as a matter of fact, with the name being Hood, I know you heard some things back in the day. I know you played on it a little bit. My name's Chico, and it's been Chico all my life. I like to say that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How did you play on that when you was younger with the being Hood name?
When I was in corporate America, that's what I was big. I was a big James Bond fan, right? So when Bond used to introduce himself, he would say Bond, James Bond. So when I was in corporate America, I did sports marketing for the NFL and Major League Baseball for about 10 years. I lived in Cincinnati, Philadelphia. So when I used to introduce myself in corporate America, so I would say Hood, Ben Hood, right? Bond. So everyone in corporate America, right, would call me Ben Hood. So that's how I distinguished and differentiated myself. That's how I was able to be, I guess, do okay. You know what I'm saying? Because of that just uniqueness, what I'm saying, as far as my name. So that's how I played on it.
Yep, and that's how I had to go about it too, because I always wanted, at some points, I used to be like, damn, why my name is not Daryl? Why is it not Michael? why is it not John?
I know,
I gotta be Chico. So yeah, I appreciate it now though.
I know, huh? You're different.
Yes. All right, and also last thing, for real, this time. Mom, you said Kirk Carrington's? The Carringtons?
Uh-huh.
I know all of them. I was about to say I know Chris.
I
went to school with Chris.
What?
Kirk is a little bit older than me, but I know Kirk. Mm-hmm. And then his dad also was real cool too. I know his dad also.
Yeah, wow. Small world. Yeah, that's my cousin.
Man, that's family to me. Chris and I was like this when we was like 6th grade.
Wow. I was just with him a couple of days ago, so I'm gonna have to tell him.
Yeah, tell him I said hello, and shout out to his wife and everybody out there and family. So much love, man. It's a small world, small
It
world. We
is.
always connected.
That's
Yes.
it. That's it.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. All right, so thank you guys for joining me once again for this episode of Prime Parents. I hope everybody out there has gotten a chance to know Colton and Brandon a little bit better through their mom and dad, Ben and Crystal. And we appreciate you once again. Make sure y'all hit the like, subscribe, comment. If you don't know, also you can go up here and follow me, BiggDogg Chico. And this is presented by MDJOriginal.com. Get you some. They have all the custom CU merch that you can find at that website, black owned also. So get it and go support. All right.
All right.
Another edition. Once again, we thank you guys, and we'll be back with more. This has been the Prime Parents presented by BiggDogg Chico. We're gonna be up and about this thing. Peace in the Middle East. Yeah.
See you. Thank you.
Thank you.